Let's talk about a war that's happening right now. It's not being fought with armies, but with keyboards and algorithms. Forget everything you think you know about how software is built. We're in the middle of a new kind of gold rush, a high-stakes battle that's going to decide the entire future of coding. So, what's all the fuss about? It's a concept called vibe coding, and honestly, it's pretty simple on the surface. Instead of meticulously writing every single line of code, you just talk to an AI. You describe what you want in plain English, and it does the heavy lifting. But don't be fooled, this isn't just a slightly smarter autocomplete. This is a complete ground-up reinvention of how we create software. And the stakes? Well, they are astronomical. Right now, the AI coding assistant market is worth just under $5 billion, but by 2032, it's projected to explode to over $30 billion. That number, that is the prize. And a prize that big brings everyone to the table, from scrappy startups to the biggest names in tech. So how did a $30 billion market just kind of appear out of nowhere? It all comes down to a single moment, a technological shift that completely changed the rules of the game, almost overnight. You see, AI got incredibly good at doing the boring stuff, all the tedious, repetitive setup code that developers call scaffolding. And that one change leveled the entire playing field. All of a sudden, a tiny team of 2 or 3 people could build things that used to require a massive corporation. It was like the floodgates opened, unleashing this huge wave of new competition and innovation. And whenever there's a gold rush, you always get the fast movers, the prospectors who see the opportunity first. A whole new breed of startups saw what was happening, and they moved with blinding speed to challenge the old guard. In this whole corporate drama, 2 challengers really burst onto the scene. They've become the main characters in our story, each one with a totally different playbook for how to win this new frontier. Meet Cursor and Windsurf.
Now, these 2 came from completely different worlds. Cursor played it smart. They took VS Code, which is already the most popular code editor on the planet, and built their AI magic right on top of it. Windsurf, though, they made a super bold pivot. They were originally a GPU infrastructure company, but they dropped everything to build a brand new AI-first editor completely from scratch.
And their speed has been just insane. I mean, look at this. Microsoft's GitHub Copilot is the big incumbent here, with over 1.3 million paying users. But Cursor already has over 1 million people using their tool every single day. And Windsurf got 1 million developers to try their product in just 4 months. This is not a long shot. This is a true head-to-head race. So, the battle lines are drawn, the players are on the field, and now the real war begins, a fight for the hearts and minds of every single developer out there, fought with strategy, speed, and a relentless pace of innovation. This quote from Windsurf's CEO, man, it just says it all. The mindset here isn't just about making small improvements. It's about being willing to completely destroy what you just built if it means you can create something even better. In this war, speed is everything. And you can see the results of that battle right here. This is not some little David versus Goliath story. The data shows that the challenger, Cursor, is right on the heels of the Microsoft-backed giant, GitHub Copilot. I mean, look how close that is. They are neck and neck, fighting for every inch of the market. And their strategies for winning couldn't be more different. Cursor is making a bet on familiarity. They're saying, hey, developers, we'll meet you where you already are, inside the tool you already love. Windsurf is making a much riskier bet. They're trying to convince developers to switch to a totally new tool, promising them these incredibly powerful, agentic workflows, where the AI is more like an autonomous teammate. But of course, you can't make this much noise, and you can't have a $30 billion prize on the table without waking up the giants. The incumbents saw what was happening, and the empire began to strike back. And their power is terrifying, honestly. Microsoft basically owns the entire playground. They have the code repository with GitHub and the editor with VS Code. Amazon is using its massive cloud business to push its own tool, Amazon Q, to huge enterprise customers. And then there's Google. They relate to the party, but they're playing a different game. They're just buying up all the top talent. This timeline just shows you how fast things have escalated. Microsoft buying GitHub was the first big shot. Amazon jumping in heated things up. But this move from Google in July 2025, wow. They didn't just buy a company. They hired away the CEO of their competitor, Windsurf. This shows you it's not just about building the best product anymore. It's a flat-out war for the people who build them.
And this brings us to this really tough dilemma. For the founders of a startup, getting acquired by Google is the dream. It's the ultimate victory, a huge payday. But for us, the users, it can be a huge loss. That cool, innovative tool you loved gets swallowed by a giant corporation. Suddenly, development slows down, it loses its focus, and it just becomes another boring capability in some massive, bloated software suite. The magic is gone.
So with all this corporate drama, the startups, the giants, the billions of dollars flying around, what does it actually mean for the most important person in this entire story? You, the developer. Well, it's a double-edged sword for sure. On the one hand, you basically have superpowers now. You can build more, faster, and you get to focus on the fun, creative parts of problem solving. But on the other hand, there are some very real risks. You could become too dependent on the AI, maybe even lose some core skills. And, like we just saw, there's always the risk that your favorite new tool gets bought and ruined.
This whole shift is literally changing what it means to be a good engineer. Now that the AI can handle the how of writing code, the really valuable skills are more strategic. It's about knowing what problems are worth solving, having the drive, the agency to build things without needing your hand held, and being able to see the big picture.
And that leaves us with the billion-dollar question at the heart of the vibe coding wars. Do these incredible tools represent the democratization of software, empowering a whole new generation of creators to build amazing things? Or, as the giants consolidate their power, are we just heading towards a future where the ability to build the future is controlled by a handful of massive companies? The battle is far, far from over,